So then give me the practical example. I mean, we're now used to the idea that if you are in an emergency situation, your home may be at risk, that you will get, say, text messages from the fire department, you'll get from the SES, a message will come to you. In your particular case, will you be able to send messages to your customers to alert them of dangers that might be there, or indeed to be able to, in early stages, be able to mitigate risk by making their home safer?
Yes, we'll be able to identify areas where there's been flood inundation historically, so that when people purchase homes and they become part of our insurance team, then they can start that process of mitigating. We can get alerts to people when there's obviously incoming weather, so that they can make the necessary adjustments to their property and secure items that need to be secured. And we've got our own weather forecasting and weather science capability at Suncorp that allows us to do that as quickly as we can. So early preparation is important, and that will bring down the cost of insurance over time. And then over the longer term, the data that we capture in this centre will lead to significantly better land planning decisions being made. And we're very happy to work with councils right across the country to identify areas where if they develop in, the insurance will be more affordable than it will be if they develop in areas where we have seen flood inundation occur previously. So it's got a short-term benefit in terms of alerting customers, a medium-term benefit in allowing us to get claims teams and other resources into the field far quicker into the areas that it needs to. But the long-term application here is for us to work collaboratively with governments at all levels to improve the quality of our built environment in Australia and New Zealand over time.
And that's the thing that many people won't understand, and that is that if you can prevent a home from being burnt or flooded, then you also, what that means is that you don't pay a claim. If you don't pay a claim, then the pool of people who are insured through Suncorp suddenly becomes a little less expensive, and therefore it takes some pressure off what have been very big increases in insurance premiums in recent years.
Exactly, and I think the celebrated example, Ross, is Roma in 2012, where we had 3 years of 3 consecutive 1-in-100-year floods in that community, and that cost Suncorp around $150 to $200 million. We argued at the time that the construction of a levee bank for $10 to $15 million would eliminate the need for the flooding risk that's in that community, and the minute the concrete was poured on that levee bank, we brought premiums down by 50 or 60%. That's mitigation. That's taking the risk away to bring the cost of the insurance down and create an affordable product and provide the protection in that community that people need. So there are examples of that up and down the coast of Australia where infrastructure has been sitting on the shelf, caught up between state, federal and local government, that can be unlocked very quickly, that really does mitigate the risk of flooding. And there's similar examples in bushfire categories as well.
Because this is obviously where government has to be involved in this, because it also is, a major cost for government when there are natural sort of disasters go through communities. And to your point, we also know that some communities are uninsurable unless it's for government intervention and government assistance.
Yes, well, Ross, the government is the insurer of last resort, aren't they? I mean, whether it be through supporting people in catastrophes, whether it be through the welfare system. If the private insurance industry isn't effective, then the government becomes the insurer. And that's not a good outcome for taxpayers. So I've quoted the statistic many times before. In terms of the whole disaster pool of funding, 97 cents is spent mopping up and 3 cents is spent mitigating or creating a more resilient community ahead of the disaster. So we've got to turn all of that around. This is a nation-building program, multi-year, multi-billion-dollar program that will be good for our nation today, but as we stare into the potential for climate change down the track, things will get worse. So we need to stare into this issue now and get the funding where it needs to get, create affordable insurance and create a healthy, vibrant private sector insurance market.
Just a strange one for you. If I was buying a house tomorrow and I was questioning my mind as to whether there was risk there of flood or of fire perhaps, could I arguably come to Suncorp and say, what would you consider this to be as an insurance risk? In other words, give me a quote on the place even before I've bought it, because that might influence my decision as to whether I want to buy that home or not.
Absolutely, and of course many of the calculators and tools that we've got available on our website will over time have the up-to-date flood information on them that goes into our risk selection. So you'll very clearly be able to see the cost of the risk that is embedded in that property. Bearing in mind that when you take out a home loan, by definition you need to have insurance. So insurance is fundamentally underpinning the housing market in Australia. And so this is an issue for insurance companies, it's an issue for banks, it's an issue for the government, it's an issue for society more broadly. So the more we work together, banking, insurance, government, everyone, working hard to get solutions to these problems, and we will need to do that, obviously, with what we're seeing with frequency and severity of weather coming down the track.
People will know that you've sold Suncorp Bank off to the ANZ earlier this year. Now you are an insurance-only business. Tell me, is it an easier business to run now?
Well, I could never describe insurance as easy, and certainly 30% of my diary hasn't opened up because of the non-existence of the bank. But you can see that the focus that we can have from the board through the executive team, through every one of our 10,000 people now focused exclusively on insurance.
Always great to catch up with you and talk about these things. Many thanks for your time today.
Thank you, Ross.